It is deadline day, and this is the place to be, right here on West Ham Unofficials. We guide you through the next 50 or so minutes. Several different guests keeping you up to date with all the latest West Ham transfer news and gossip, done deals if we get them, and any movement involving the Hammers in the final hours of this transfer window. Before we get into it, drop a like on the video, subscribe to West Ham Unofficial if you're new. I'm joined by Mike for the first section of this. Mike, how are you?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Forgot my yellow tie, sorry.
Yeah, I know. We both did. We both forgot. We both forgot. Let's see who we got in the chat. Evening to everybody. Sharky, thank you very much for becoming a member. Become a member of the channel by clicking the join button. And I've extended by a couple of hours of the members giveaway currently going on over there for a mug. Mug's got a mug. Are they good, Mike?
Brilliant, mate. Yes. Yeah, better than the ones you buy in the, I'll tell you this now, Jake. I shouldn't say this, but your mug's brilliant compared to the one I bought in the shop. It's all the stuff's peeling off it already. So
well, that's what you like to see.
Yeah,
that's what you like to see. So become a member. You can be in with a chance of winning one of our designed mugs and all the other stuff that comes with that as well. Hammerhead, hope you well. Phil in as well. Any new progress of any late signings? We're going to get onto that in just a second. Then Donker just signed for Villa. We're going to talk about everything that's happened today, and we're going to start off with what we thought was going to be probably the only thing that was going to happen today, and that was saying farewell to the big man Craig Dawson. So at the start of the day, we believed it was going to be pretty much straightforward that Craig Dawson was going to leave the club and Jan Bednarek was going to join the club on a season-long loan, providing, of course, that Dawson deal went through. Around 2 o'clock this afternoon, we received the news of many different people saying many different things that basically David Moyes had a change of heart. He said no to Jan Bednarek. He's gone to Villa, and we've persuaded Craig Dawson to stay at the club for at least until January and beyond. Let's start with that, Mike. It's very good news, I think.
Well, that's the biggest coup of all, mate, isn't it? We've kept the big man, full stop. It's like another signing, keeping him.
Yeah.
No, joking aside. I mean, when we signed him, we all thought, oh, what are we doing? Come on, we all got to admit it. Where are we going with his signing? But he has been, for the money we spent on him, the guy's been awesome. And, I'd be sad to see him go. But I think, you can understand if he's having to do all that travelling. Yeah, you can understand it. And I would have said to him, thanks very much, Craig, for everything you've done. Go on and, earn yourself a few more bob somewhere else, as long as you don't score a goal against us.
Yeah.
But no, I think that's good that we've kept him. I think he's, he probably knows he's only going to be back up. But we all know the amount of games that West Ham have got to play this year. He will get game time.
Oh, he will. And he is going to be probably at the end of this centre-back list, especially when a Gerd comes back. But to be fair, Bednarek, I'm never going to slate a centre-back that we sign that, we're a bit about ever again, really. But Dawson, he's here, and this and that. It's just overall better, I think. And the way we've managed to persuade Dawson, I hope it was done on good terms. He weren't just told you're staying because we're not signing Bednarek. Hopefully it's done and it's agreed on good terms. And we can just move on and see what game time we can get. We've got 6 games in the Europa Conference League. We're going to have games in the Carabao Cup, FA Cup, and beyond. There's going to be plenty of games, and I'm sure plenty of injuries in our defence. Right, let's head back into the chat. Anything you'd like to add to that, Mike?
No, I'm like I say, I'm just glad we kept him. The Dendonka thing, I didn't really want him, to be totally honest. I knew when we was in for him before. I've seen him play a few times since. I don't think he'd add a lot to us. He would only again be probably someone like Kroll sat on the bench, getting splinters in his bum. I don't think he would, be getting on the pitch very often. So I couldn't really see any gains in that one.
No, I think that's fair. Let's have a little look at the chat. Where are we? Here we are then. Terry, hope you are well, mate. Yarda, hope you are keeping well, my friend. Dynamite Dulce, indeed, he is staying. He is staying, indeed. Yeah, of course, we said Dendonka signing for Villa. So, and then moving on into the Harrison Ashby little dilemma we've had. So there's 2 parts to this. We'll start off with himself, Harrison Ashby. So there's been links with him moving away, not signing a contract, this and that, and the rest of it. And it seems like in the last couple of hours, Mike, we've shut that down. He's not moving to Newcastle. We're not going to get the measly £2 million that they were they were prepared to pay. Moyes has put his foot down, and he's only got a year left on his contract. But as it stands, Harrison Ashby is going to remain a West Ham United player.
If he goes on a free at the end, fair dues. But I mean, I hope he gets game time because I do like him. I think he's got something about him. But we're pretty strong in the fullback position, well, right back position. But Jake, like you just mentioned, injuries. All of a sudden we could have two fullbacks injured and he'll get his chance. And I hope he takes it when he does get his chance because I do rate the guy. He's good going forward.
Oh, yes.
He's got a bit to learn yet. We know that, but yeah, I think there's something about the guy I do like. And like I say, for the money we're going to get for him, what was there's
the point?
There's no point in it really. He's going to go to Newcastle and he's only going to be second or third choice again up there.
Well, exactly. The whole dilemma of it was, and yes, I can understand why the players are frustrated that they're not getting game time. But he was going to go there to replace Emil Kraft, who's got an ACL. He was in the first team plans. He's going to be second or third choice, and that's what he is at West Ham, realistically. And I do think in the next year, if he gets the game time, he will overtake either Johnson or Soufal. Which one of them? I'm not quite so sure, but I do think that he will in the next year. If we can sign him down to a contract and he plays a lot of games, which I think he could do, Conference League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, the rest of it, I think he will. I think he will at least leapfrog one of them. Let's look at the chat. Honestly, just yawn. We got rid of Champions League Craig. Yeah, no, he's still here, and we're soldiering on. And the Craig Dawson parody Twitter account remains for however much longer we can just grasp hold of it. Let's bring on our next guest. All the way over, coming back from Tesco is Mr. Charlie Walsh.
Come on, Big Craig. Stay forever. Never leave. Never leave. Yeah, Jake,
mate.
I apologise, Jake. What happened was I left the shopping till too late. Thankfully, West Ham didn't do that, and today we didn't have to stress about it. But me, I had a pizza in the oven. I had a pizza in the fridge, but it's been there a bit too long. I don't know if I trust it. I needed another pizza. So I had to go and get one, Jake. It was a bit of an issue. But, I'm happy. We've had a really good window.
Yeah, we have.
Yep.
Yeah, we have.
I agree, Charlie. I think... Yeah, I mean, some of my lads are just saying on here now, one more. I don't know, really. I think, I think we've got enough. As long as we don't get too many injuries, I think we've got enough coverage for every position at the moment. So, yeah, maybe a couple of the young lads to come through as well and give them games in the likes of the Carabao Cup or run out in a European game. Yeah, I think we've sent the right ones off. Who've gone out on loan. So yeah, I'm happy with it.
I think the idea of one more is because we haven't done anything today. I feel like if we signed Paqueta today, for example, I don't think anyone would be saying one more.
No, they wouldn't.
I think it's just that sort of final day rush that we sort of need something. I'm really happy. I think we had a lot of issues in the squad and a lot of with people leaving, including Yarmolenko, Noble, those kind of people. We had a lot to do, and I think we've basically addressed everything. I think the only position I would have liked something in was probably like an out-and-out right winger who can sort of play back up to Bowen, push Bowen a little bit. But outside of that, we've done everything and more that I wanted. And we've done it where the level of people we've brought in, I'm really happy with as well. This isn't a window where we've signed a lot of people, but a lot of them are just sort of randos. This is a window where we've signed a lot of people and they are high quality players. Skamaka, Aguerd, Paqueta. These are people of big names, big prices, and we spent a lot. I can't really complain too much about it, to be honest with you.
No, I don't think many people can. Let's just quickly break down what we've got here. So Aguerd, Paqueta, Kera, Cornet, Emerson, Skamaka, Areola, and Flynn Downs. Does anybody want to specifically start anywhere?
Oh, mate, I just their quality, like Charlie's just said. I mean, we've brought in a better quality. We're not going. Okay, we're not going back to people like Zabaleta. Fair dues, Zabaleta did a good job for us, but players that are in their prime, a lot of these guys are 25, what's Skamaka? He's 24 or whatever. I mean, yeah, I think this is another level signings we've gone to here. It's about time, but I'm happy with it. I'm well happy with it.
Yeah, and I think what sums up the whole transfer window is the pure excitement in every time Paqueta touched the ball last night, Charlie, in the stadium. It was just, oh my God.
Yeah, and because it came at the right time. And it's one of those things where we were pushing the game, and Moises over the last 2 games sort of seemed to figure it out in the second half, and it felt like there was actually a bit of belief. And then we introduced Paqueta again, a bit like the transfer window to some extent, where it was like, I was happy with it. And then we went and got Paqueta, and it was like, okay, we're doing well. Then we brought on Paqueta, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, we're taking it here. It feels like I've heard the word a lot used in live chats and Twitter and all that sort of stuff of like transition season. The idea of we're trying to do something a bit different. We're trying to step to a different level. We're trying to maybe shop in a different realm and all that sort of stuff. And I think Paqueta's the big one here. Like, we've signed a lot of big players. Like I say, Scamacca is someone who probably and could have gone to a lot of clubs in Champions League football, for example, right? He could have done that. But Paqueta, when you look at him, you say, oh, wait, no, this is a different ballpark entirely. This is a different stratosphere of signing, a different stratosphere of money we spent, and also just player available. And bringing him on, it felt a little bit like that. When he came on the pitch, the touches, the little flicks and passes he was trying, the thing that West Ham like more among this, the effort he was putting in. It wasn't just someone who was coming in, waiting for the ball to get to him and then doing a flick and a touch and then not doing anything else. He was running, he was charging around, he was doing stuff. Bloke didn't even understand what other people were saying, like Messi. He had to get Areola to flip in and give him to translate for him on the bench. He didn't even fully understand. But he was out there doing exactly what West Ham fans want from anyone, which is that hard work and that hard graft. And if we've got someone who can do that as well as the flicks and the tricks, I think that's the sign of us really looking to push on to that fabled next level. We can have discussions and arguments about what that next level is, but I think that's the biggest sign here, is signing someone like Paqueta who can do all of that.
Yeah, well, to be fair, just to mention Kevin Owens, to be fair, I think the translation was that me and Andy Carroll just go on a big bender and just pretend we're injured over Christmas, you know? That's what he was explaining. This is how it works.
I think, though, to be honest, we've got a guy like Paqueta, because like he played against us in the Europa League last year. He's seen what we had there. He's took a look at that atmosphere, especially the European nights. They were absolutely awesome. And last night as well was great, I can tell you. That place was buzzing. And he's, it's given him a real lift. He came out on the pitch and he had a really good welcome. He was fired up. Like Charlie said, this guy could help to push us again, because we've been missing that strength, that legs, and the ability to stay on the ball and be brave and take the ball alongside Souček and Rice in the middle of the park. I think he's the missing link. I really do. I hope he stays fit, because, I mean, he made a challenge on the far post, a header. I think it was a cross or a corner, and he's just stuck his elbow into the. I can't remember who it was, but he meant it. Do you know what I mean? And he's not going to get pushed around. That is for sure.
I think he's going to be like that sort of nasty, like, I'm going to put my foot in, I'm going to leave it on you.
There was a foul. There was a good foul there near the end of the game when he was going to break. And I can't remember what he'd done, where he dragged him back, or he stopped the guy.
Kicked him a bit late, I think.
I thought, he's a player. He's got it all. He's got everything we need.
Yeah, I think he has. Right, let's head into the chat then. Sharky, hope you are well. Yeah, he's gone now. Got rid of him, or he got rid of himself. Tino, what is the injury update on Gianluca Scamacca? As he wasn't in the squad last night. We are hoping that was just a bug. David Moyes confirmed something wrong with his throat and something, and hopefully the tablets and everything can bring his temperature back to the normal, whatever, and he can be ready for Saturday against Chelsea. Scamacca is younger than me. That's crazy. Sharky, we spent plenty of dosh. This is what us fans have been waiting for, and this is what we've got. The squad looks very strong now. It does, and to be fair, not many people have mentioned what you mentioned earlier, Charlie, was Bowen seems to be cruising slightly. He hasn't got anybody, behind him on the bench who's going to come onto the right-hand side. That's the only thing that worries me, because we haven't even really been linked with a right-sided attacking player. Perhaps Cornet can go over there from time to time, but that's the only area that takes it from a 9 to a 10 if we get a quality player, I think.
Yeah. I think that's the one difference. I was having a conversation yesterday on Two Spanners, One Hammer, where we were doing the exact thing. You're just saying, rating the window out of 10. And I said 9, and my words were, I don't know what would have taken it into a 10. but it's like a 9 right now. But if so, I don't know what it would have to possibly do to get there. And maybe it is that. I mean, we've got a lot of people who can play there. You're looking at the likes of, I mean, Paqueta can play there, Cornet, Ben Rama can move out there. We've seen Fornals move there at times. Lanzini, who stuck around, could probably do a job there. There's a lot of people. Antonio can play there. I mean, we've got a lot of people who can do it. We've only got one person who does it, and that's Jared Bowen. And I think maybe that is that one missing thing. But I'm not really begrudging that too much. I think my frustration with us sort of keep picking Bowen for the sake of picking Bowen. It's one of those things. It's like, I don't blame David Moyes for it. I just disagree with him. Like, if it was me, if I was in charge, yeah, I probably would have swapped him out for someone else at this point. But if I'm looking at it from David Moyes' perspective and going, right, if I need a goal, who is the one person in this team who I can rely on the most? It would probably be Jared Bowen. In the same way that if you asked him, if you would pick 2 people in this team who you could almost guarantee a performance from, you would say Jared Bowen and Declan Rice. And so I don't necessarily blame him for like sticking with him. I would have probably dropped him. But I also can't blame him for not signing anyone, because Jesus Christ, we spent enough money. I don't know who else we would have got. Like maybe, I don't know, Januzaj or whatever. There was options there, and maybe in January
gone off on one. He spent 180 million. Now I think Central put on Twitter earlier, he's now spent another 43 million on some luxury thing in Paris as well. He's spending his dough this summer. Right, before we move on, we're going to take a slight diversion. And Mike, we're going to bring on somebody familiar for two different ways. A West Ham fan, but also somebody you know very well that we saw last week. Are you ready?
Who have you got?
Matt, how are you?
Oh, you got a big man.
Hey guys, how are we doing? Apologies,
Right,
I'm a bit later than I said I would be.
That's all right, no worries.
Got work and got the little ones to tend to, as you can see. Honestly, these aren't mine. You've got your West Ham posters up. I got the alphabet, days of the week, you name it.
Well done. That's great work.
So if you didn't see the show earlier, we had a couple of we had Mike on, and we had a couple of Wincanton Town FC players. Wincanton are the lowest ranked side left in the FA Cup, and Matt's the man that took Wincanton to the lead last week at Sherborne against Camberley with a very, very good header, if I do say so myself. Mike, anything you'd like to ask Matt ahead of Saturday?
No, he's going to be on fire again, mate. The bloke's on fire. You should have seen him on Monday. He dragged us back single-handedly from 3-0 down to get a point. So yeah, long may it continue, mate. He's on fire.
I got the easy job, mate. Everyone else does the hard work, and everyone in town I put in.
I mean, every team needs a guy who can stick the ball in the back of the net. The other bits, lots of people can do, but not many people can do that.
You took West Ham. We've been needing that for a long time, haven't we?
We have.
Someone who can stick the ball in the net. I heard you just talking there about Bowen and how he's dried up a little bit. So yeah, I always say they do the hard work. I just every now and again I put one in. I miss more than I put in, but
Then would you link to yourself to a player like Gianluca Scamacca? Do you see the connection?
Apart from
I was going to say the hair's not too dissimilar. I was going to say
I probably got about 5 stone on him, I reckon. So, height-wise, yeah, we're similar, and he turns a lot quicker than me. I was dead surprised. I'm not gonna lie, never heard of him. Like, I like football, and I watch a lot. Recently, I haven't played as much as people play FIFA and they play all sorts to understand and learn players' names and stuff. When you get kids, you kind of like drop all of that, don't you? So I had no idea who he was. I had to go and do some research about him, and my God, for a 6'5" guy, he's nimble, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
But he moves quickly. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, fair play. So, yeah, haircut. That's about it, really. Other than that. But he's. I think he'll come good. I think he'll need some time, but nobody likes somebody at 6'5", right? He's going to be. He looks aggressive. he looks very aggressive, which I think you'll need. So I'm excited, to be honest. I used to love, but he got injured a lot, but I love Andy Carroll. I loved him, and when he I'd seen him games and he was unplayable. Remember, he scored a hat trick at Arsenal in the first half hat trick, and unbelievable he was. And when he was fit and in his mode, nobody could get near him because he was just so awkward, so strong, so powerful. And I think that Skamaka might be a bit like that.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
The question is, if you score on Saturday, have you got a goal celebration prepared?
I do. I always do the same one. Although my little boy was at the Camberley game,
Yeah.
I didn't know they were coming. And my little girl, bless her, she told us off. She said, "You didn't stop for the toilet train." So she needed the toilet. And that's a little thing on the show she watches. You have to stop for the toilet train. And she said, "Daddy, you and your friends, you didn't stop for the toilet." She missed my goal. So she was off having a wee.
Oh,
So I ran over to my little boy and gave him a kiss. And we've got, we got a photographer, Jess, who's one of the players' girlfriends. And she just took it up as a hobby that she'd never done it before. And she takes some amazing photos. And she took one of me, kissing my little boy as a celebration. And, sounds silly to some people. For me, I'll treasure that forever. Forever, I will have that photo. So yeah, I just do the same celebration. I've always had little John Joe Shelby. Why that? I don't know. I have had that forever. So that's.
To be fair, up until this transfer window, this is what we've been doing to try and find some signings. But now we don't need to do that,
Yeah, that's what they're trying to do to get a 10p coin out of the spend.
Just before I let you and Mike go, Matt, I want a score prediction. And do you back yourself to score on Saturday? Of course you do.
I back myself to score. It's a tough one. Optimistically, I'd like to say if we could. A replay be the same place, but I just want us to do a good account of ourselves. We show people what we can do, and if you can nick something, great. But we just got to make sure that we do the 11, Chris, all the management, and the club, everyone involved, proud, because it's a big day for them. So the results not so good, but not it doesn't matter so much. But it's a big day, and I'd love to say we can nick it. It's unrealistic, but I would love to say we could nick it. It may be
unrealistic, but everybody on the show earlier on, I convinced them to predict the win. So we are keeping the positivity up.
Yeah. So if we're doing it, we're going to go 2-1. We're going to nick it 2-1.
Love it. Mike, I know you've got to go, so I'm going to let you go. And Matt, cheers, Mike. Thank you very much. Cheers, Mike. I'll see you Saturday, Mike.
I just want to say thank you for having me. Apologies, I was completely late and I may have ruined the feng shui of your show, but yeah.
But do you know the days of the week yet? Is the important question. I mean, I'm
struggling with the alphabet.
Okay, fair.
Numbers I'm good with, right? So I do that for jobs, so I'm good with those. But yeah, colouring, I can't quite keep in the lines yet either. So we'll get there.
Love it. Matt, thank you very much. I won't keep any more of your time. I'll speak to you very soon. Thank you very much for coming on.
No worries. Take care, guys.
Speak to you soon. Cheers, mate. Good luck on Saturday. There we go. Come on, your irons. Cheers, mate.
See you.
Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Look at you slowly but surely making everyone Wincanton Town fan. Look at that. There's no messing. Just slowly just seeding it in. I respect it,
Yeah. Phil, how are you?
Good, thank you. Now a brand new Wincanton fan.
Oh, see, they're everywhere.
You love to see it.
Good stuff. I mean, to be fair, the big thing is, does our friend next to Charlie, does he think we're going to sign any players? Danny DeVito.
Today.
Danny,
what are you saying, mate? He says no.
Yeah.
Not even Jordan Hugo at 10:59.
He says no. Don't get too excited. Just calm down. Look at him. He's happy Craig is staying. See the excitement in his eyes. Yeah.
Exactly. Right, Phil. Guide us through your thoughts of this transfer window. What have you made of it? Can you see us doing anything else?
Well, we've got a couple of hours left. It seems a little bit quieter now compared to the players we were linked with earlier today. But as a whole, it's not been too bad. The window. I know at the start of it we was a bit annoyed that we didn't sign anyone straight away. But that's just the impatience where we ain't signed anyone in a year. But slowly but surely we've got these players in, and all of a sudden we've got a bit of squad depth now, which is the main thing. And rating the signings as well is pretty good as well. So, and they're all first team players. You know, they're not
Pretty
just
much
there
all
to
of them, yeah.
pretty much. So, I'm impressed with what we've done. The important thing is if they can all gel together, and then slowly you'll see a lot of them all starting together anyway, and then it sort of be like slowly replacing the old guard in our squad as well. And I reckon if I gave it a 9 out of 10 now, in 6 months' time, we can go back and say it's a 10 out of 10, or even at the end of the season, I could say it's a 10 out of 10, depending on how well all the players have performed.
Yeah, and I think the overriding factor of it as well, which not many people will recognise as well, is yes, we've managed to keep older players like Dawson and Ashby today, but at the start of the window, you know, there wasn't too much worry, but we still, at the end of a summer transfer window, have hold of Declan Rice. We still have hold of Jarrod Bowen, and that in itself is a success, Charlie.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is like the people who have gone could have gone. Like obviously Mark Noble's a different story, but Yarmolenko was only an impact sub. Issa Diop was barely getting any game time to begin with. Ryan Fredericks wasn't really involved at all. So you're talking about the people who left were people who could leave. The people who have stayed are the important ones, which just added to it. Because I think if you'd said to any West Ham fan, literally at any point before now, we would have spent 180 million, but we also kept Declan Rice and Jarrod Bowen, I think we all would have laughed you out of the building. And so the fact that we've managed to do both things, I mean, we've really built a squad. We've really, really genuinely built a squad in this window, as opposed to before where we were sort of adding pieces here and there. We finally have options and depth in almost every position.
Yeah, exactly. Right, we're now going to do a little bit of a ratings kind of thing. So out of the players we've seen properly for a substantial amount of time, I'm going to ask you both 2 ratings. So a rating for value and a rating for quality you've currently seen for the players. So Phil, I'm going to start with you, and I'm going to start with Thilo Kehrer. Firstly, with the value, how much we paid for him, around £13 million, and what you've seen of him so far, a rating out of 10 as well.
At value, I'm going to give him a 9, a solid 9 out of 10. What I've seen of him so far, obviously got an own goal yesterday, which was unfortunate, and gave away a penalty against Brighton. But other than that, I've been pretty impressed with him, and I'll give him, for now, 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's been a strange old time to his West Ham career, Charlie. How do you rate it?
Yeah, I really like him. I really like him. Again, I look at him as a sort of the upgrade on Ogbonna and Dawson. Can't upgrade on Dawson, obviously, but you understand what I'm saying. That sort of role of someone who's going to be the next choice down, and if we play a back three, would come in instantaneously. I love his range of passing. His speed was really good. There were a couple of times yesterday, for example, where Son was looking like he almost could have been clearing through if we were playing anyone else, but he had that turn of pace to just get back and make sure there's that little bit of pressure just to stop it. And those elements to his game, which is something we don't really have at centre-back, which is really nice. Value-wise, I think we've done really well. I think that's I'll probably agree with Phil there on a sort of 9-ish level. Reminds me a bit of when we signed Ogbonna for 7 million from Juve. It's like, this is a guy who has lots of experience and lots of pedigree, and we've got him for a really decent price. But performances wise, I'd probably give him sort of around the 8 so far. I've been really happy and really proud. It's pleased me how quick he's made that transition from playing at a huge club like PSG in a league like Ligue 1, where you get all of the time and space on the ball you want, basically, and can make mistakes in it, not really cost you. I think about Villa, for example. There was one time where right at the beginning of the game, he stepped a little bit too far forward, ball came over the top of him, and Ollie Watkins was through. And after that point, he clicked into gear and went, right, actually, I cannot do that right now. I need to get back into gear. A bit like Zabaleta did when he came from Manchester City. I've really enjoyed him. Yeah,
and he is very, very, he's got that brain there, and his pace will get him out of a lot of situations that perhaps it wouldn't get a player like Ogbonna out of. So we're not going to worry about Areola, because we know about Areola. We're going to do value for Maxwell Cornet, we haven't seen enough of him to give a quality, but for value, how much we paid for him? Around £18 million from what you've seen of him.
Well,
Phil?
well, Conley, obviously that was a relegation release clause he had. So if Burnley stayed up, then he would have gone for a lot more. So I think in today's market, that's not a bad price, especially if you're going by stats from Burnley last season. But what I've seen of him, so I would say the rating for the price is, I'd say, 8 out of 10. And from what I've seen, again, I'll go for a 7 for now. And there's a lot of potential to improve, because when I saw him against Viborg, I thought he looked good, but could have done a lot more. And that just shows how good he is, because he's got the pace, he's got the skill. Seen him get a nice assist and a cross in there. So once he gets a bit more game time, once he gets a bit more settled in with the squad, he's going to do really well, and he'll create a lot of chances as well. So I'll stick with 7 for now. For what I've seen,
I think as well, Charlie, was that he was good in that Viborg game, but we know he can give more because we've seen him before.
Yeah, exactly. This is a guy who, although played for a relegation team last year, has played in European competitions quite comfortably, played for his country. He's someone who has a lot of quality and has done for a long, long time. You know, he's not old by any stretch of imagination. He's only 25, but he still has been around the top level since practically the day he came out of into senior football. And when you're getting someone who can play all of, like, a bunch of different positions, you're talking right wing, left wing. You could probably play him up front if you really wanted to, left back if you really wanted to, left wing back. There's a lot of versatility there for that kind of price. That's not bad. That's probably like an 8 out of 10. This is a good player that you're getting for that kind of price, an average for Premier League prices, and someone who has a lot of quality, has a lot of different things he can do, and also, like you say, has levels he can go up, and someone, more importantly as well, we can rely on to perform. You know, this isn't a risky signing, really. You're looking at him going, we know exactly what he can do. He can do it. It's not someone like, I don't know, I can't pick someone off the top of my head, but someone you might have signed from, say, Belgium for about the same price, who maybe has a high ceiling or whatever. This is someone you know what they can do, and that's a big thing.
And that's why I think it's a smart signing. We're not going to really worry about a Gerd because we haven't seen him play bar a couple of pre-season games. So
that tackle he did, though, was unreal.
It was.
I mean, he might have injured him, but it was a great tackle.
Yeah, we'll say that. It might have put him out for months, but it was a good tackle.
It was great.
And we will move on. We've got Emerson. We'll get Emerson out of the way, and then we'll move on to Skamaka and Paqueta. Emerson. Yeah, we'll do quality and price around that same region, £10 million, I think, something like that. It's going to be a fix, you know, Phil. It is what it is. He's not world breaking, you know, he's not ripping up trees, but he's played in the Premier League. He's experienced. He's all right.
Yeah, he's. I think what we wanted was someone to challenge Creswell, and obviously Masuaku's also gone out the door as well. So we needed someone there who can actually challenge Creswell for the first choice left back. So I think when we signed Emerson, it was sort of a mixed bag, really, from people, because if you're going off by his appearances anyway for Chelsea, and the fact he was sent out on loan last season, but the price, it's not too bad, really. Is what it is. 7, 8 out of 10. What we've seen of him, I'll go for a 7 again. If he starts getting a few more games under his belt, we'll see some improvements for sure, and a bit of pace as well, which is the important thing.
The one thing that worried me when we saw him against Aston Villa for the 45 minutes, and I don't know how it came across on the telly, Charlie, but it seemed like it was very, you know, to be fair, the whole team were poor in that first half. It seemed very safe every time he got it. He didn't look like he really wanted to go forward. I wasn't that impressed with him. I thought it was unfortunate that he was hooked off at halftime, but it was the right decision to bring on Said Benrahma in the end. But are you convinced that he can become a good and experienced and a valuable player in our squad, Charlie?
Yeah. I mean, when he played at Roma, which was when I first saw him, I thought he was brilliant. I really, really liked him at Roma. I have a soft spot for Roma, so I'm being 100% biased when I say this. But I thought he was really, really good. And he came to Chelsea, and obviously his career stalled somewhat. He went out on loan last year, and by all accounts, did fine. I didn't really see him too much there. But he is someone who has a lot of experience and has attributes that help, and is a definitive, significant upgrade on Masuaku. And I think that's the big thing here, is you're almost paying for not just the player, but also the squad position, right? Because when you have Masuaku on the bench, it's almost like the downgrade that happens when you have to bring him on for Aaron Cresswell was so huge. No offense to him. I like a lot of things about Masuaku, but that's just the facts of the situation, that it was almost a big problem. And so paying that much for someone who definitively upgrades that position gives you that little bit of security and is a competent, good left back. Yeah, we'll take that. Is it that much of an upgrade on Aaron Cresswell? We'll see over the course of the season whether he can prove that or not. I'm not super convinced, but then again, I also like Aaron Cresswell more than most people do. So that's not really a criticism from my behalf. But I'm happy. I think he'll come. I think we'll look back on it and go, yeah, that was a decent transfer. Value-wise, I'd probably give it around the 6 or 7 mark. We haven't overpaid, we haven't underpaid, and performances-wise, I'd probably say the same. I'd say probably a 6 so far, and we'll see with the European fixtures. He's going to get game time, and we'll see how he plays out.
Yeah. So I just want to get all these like dad jokes out of the chat because it's really frustrating me. Right, let's go through a few of these comments. Firstly, John, I think it's just about Kera, 13 for an own goal and a penalty. We have Dawes for that, or is that why we were letting him go? He shows some class, to be honest, great vision in passing and not afraid to get in for a tackle. One thing I forgot to mention, he started off that move, which could have ended up being one of our goals of the season if that Antonio shot would have just hit the other side of the post. Oh my days, that would have been one sexy bit of football, trust me. John says I wanted Cornet to get the 99 squad number. He looks all right, an improvement on Masuaku. Warning, this is when the dad jokes start to occur. He doesn't look a flaky player. I think he'll be a fab player. Sharky's not getting involved with the ball. He is a good. Jesus Christ!
You love to see it.
We were going to sign his brother too, but there's just one. Cornet. That's good.
If he gets
I can accept that one. I can accept that one.
If we can get some good crossing in, we can call him Mr. Whippy.
That's good.
There we go. Now we're rocking.
Right, here we go. This is what we like. This is the quality content you can find there, honestly. You know, we're here all week sometimes.
Subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video.
That's it.
All of it.
Subscribe for the jokes.
Oh, love it. Yeah. And if you don't like the jokes, subscribe anyway. Because I'm telling you to. And Dawson is telling you to. When I can get my thing to scroll up and down. Look, I'm there with him. I interviewed him live. There he is. And there he is again. Oh, no, that's me. There he is again. And again. He's everywhere. It's great. Dawson.
We've got him all shackled up now because he ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. Moyes has went, right, I ain't signing that geezer from Southampton. You're staying, my friend. You are staying. Right, before we carry on with... I've just been flashed with 5,000 stats. I'm not doing anything, but anyway, just before we carry on, I'll take it. Just before we carry on, if you would like to, you can be a channel member of the channel from just $1.99 a month. You can do that. The voting for my members giveaway will end as soon as this show ends. So, Sharky, if you want to get involved and win yourself a West Ham official mug, put your entry in now on the membership page. Just type West Ham Massive under the membership post there. Post there. And everything else, Football Content Awards, vote for me there. That would be greatly appreciated. Let's get me to the final. That would be lovely again. But last 2 players left. Let's start with Gianluca Scamacca. Value, quality so far. Phil.
Right, value. Very good value, especially when you're on a top quality striker, international striker as well. It's pretty good going. I think if we was going to get a striker, it was going to be, around that 40 odd million mark anyway. So, there's a lot of excitement when we signed him, and we've seen a bit of him now. I think, there's going to be a lot of good stuff he's going to do this season. When he scored his goals in the Conference League, they're not world class goals, but they're good strikers' goals. Really, header in the box, nice little tap in the box. He's got the good movement. I'll give him. It's going to be for value. I'd say 7, and for what we've seen of him, again, I'm just going to stick with the 7s again. It's we'll see how we go, and I can change that in a few months.
Yeah, so. Charlie, Skamaka?
Yeah, value would probably be about the same as a 7. I keep agreeing Phil. Phil's just spitting facts right now. I'd probably say about a 7 as well. I think like we've paid a lot for him, but when you're buying a 23-year-old striker who's one of the hottest prospects in Europe and got a lot of goals, you're going to have to pay sort of that in and around that price regardless, if not more a lot of the time. So I'd say a 7. I think it's decent value. We've done well. We've done well with that one. And then I think quality-wise, game time-wise, I'd probably stick in and around the 7 as well. I think he's shown flashes of being a lot more, but I think we need to be with him more. There needs to be a little bit more support, a little bit more playing to his strengths. We've seen flashes of what he can do. We've seen flashes of what he's capable of. And if we can get the people in and around him that he needs in and around him, then I think we're going to be seeing a very, very good player. But I do think that's going to take time. The one thing I do like about it, which is something Matt sort of touched on, when you're talking about his size and his sort of a touch, his ability on the ball, all of that sort of stuff, it's the exact opposite of what Antonio has. And that finally giving us those options, we actually finally have a genuine plan B. And we saw it when Antonio came on at Villa and as over Skamaka, is all of a sudden we did have something completely different up front and he didn't know how to deal with that either. And having that sort of combo is really exciting to me. So I'll give him a 7 for performances so far, but I think that will only increase over time.
Yeah, and it is key we get up there like Ben Rama close to him, so there's somebody that you can feed off to. But moving on to our record signing then, and before we do, so mate, you just got to take a left out of Westfield, just carry on a bit and then take a right. It's the best player mashup you find, mate. Superb. Lucas Paqueta, our record signing, £52 million. Everybody was in awe every time he touched the ball last night at the London Stadium. A mix of Paqueta and everything else in between. We're getting the vibe of. Charlie, you can start, so it doesn't look like you're copying Phil every time.
Oh, thanks, man. Phil, what were you going to say? Just real quick. I think value-wise, I can't give it too high because obviously we've spent an insane amount of money on him. Is it what he's worth? I would say yes. So I'll probably go 6 because I don't think we've necessarily overspent on him. I think we've just spent what was necessary to get a player that good into the club. So I'd say probably around about a 6. And performances-wise, obviously, we've only had a very brief amount of time seeing him. But screw it, I'm going to give him a 10. The thing is with him is I'm just really excited to see all of the different aspects to his game, all of the different things he can do in that position that we just don't have. I think we've been screaming out last season for someone playing in that number 10 role who can create as well as shoot. We have someone like Lanzini who, like, no offense to Lanzini, he's obviously a shadow of what he used to be, but my man can still ping him in from range when he wants to. He's got an insane shot on him. But that little lack of passing in that area, a bit of incisiveness that we've lacked in and around the box has been sort of missing. And I think Lucas Paqueta's got a bit of that. We saw it in a very brief spell he had yesterday where there was just 1 or 2 little reverse ball here, little through ball there, little smart passing where it looked like, okay, this is someone who can open up a little bit. And I'm really, really excited for this one, Jake. I'm really excited for this one because I think it is the cherry on top and the piece de resistance of West Ham United. We've got a lot of hard workers. We've got a lot of grafters. We've got people who can do the fancy stuff as well. But here's a guy who can do it all and at a level that we currently can't do it. I'm really, really excited for this one.
Yeah, I agree. Phil, over to you.
Yeah, I think it's going to be massive when it's a record signing as well. And this is, well, we won't be paying 50 million or whatever it is, for crap basically. So there's a lot of expectations, and we're all excited. And it's a player in a position that we really need. Just that extra bit of creativity that will make all the difference for this season and for the future. So I'd say, I think, yeah, like what Charlie says, you've got to give it about a 6-ish for now, anyway, because it's a lot of money, and we've only seen him for about, what was it, half hour, 20, 25 minutes, wherever it was. It's but look, when he came on, the reception was amazing. All he had to do was breathe, and we thought it was world class, basically. But
exactly.
yeah, so. What I saw is, made a few good little movements, few touches. Very unfortunate if there was that little bit of miscommunication in the box where he could have done a dream debut goal. There's an awful lot to come from him. We knew about him anyway throughout the summer with the other teams who were going for him. I think once he's properly settled in, because bear in mind he's only been here a few days. Once he settles in, and all the other players all settle in as well, and Moyes gets his best.
Once he can communicate slightly with Emerson.
Yeah,
that was the one thing, by the way. The one guy who you think in that situation he could have screamed "mine" to take the shot at in a language he would have understood is also the Brazilian guy.
Very true.
I was like, no, it's the one guy you can communicate with. You've just played with him all last season in France, and you're both Brazilians.
Yeah,
no,
every man for himself.
Yeah, right. We're gonna fire through these comments, and we've got something special to do before we go because we've got to wrap things up and then go and everybody's got to do stuff, But anyway, right, let's go through these comments. So, John, that reminds me, Jake, you owe me a pack of biscuits. The amount of cookies I deleted voting for you. See, that's a good joke. That's a good joke.
Right.
Thank you very much, John. Keep going because I need it. I need all the votes I can get. Sharky, I cannot wait to see Paqueta when he beds into the team. I agree. Ian, shame that Downs now seems to be the new Crowell. Hopefully, he can start to get a bit of game time. I didn't see the point of voting, voting and ratings for him because we just haven't really seen him. John says, I was watching a video earlier. Paqueta can be moody and arguing with his teammates. Can he? He can't even speak the language. He just must have a look like a death stare.
Death stare, yeah.
Shut up, mate. Sharky, thank you very much.
I'm pissed, but in Portuguese.
Yeah, exactly. Sharky, thank you very much for the £5 donation. We have a round of applause for Sharky. Thank you very much.
Big place.
Indeed. Right then, now, so the members, I've mentioned it a few times, have had a giveaway for one of my very prestigious, the last mug that we actually have. This is the last one. 2 people put themselves forward for it. So Phil and Charlie, you've got jobs. All right. So okay. Charlie, to start with, I'm going to press shuffle. When you say stop, I'm going to stop shuffling. Okay.
Okay.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
We'll go stop.
Okay. And now, Phil, Sharky, I want you to. Yeah. Sharky in the blue, Mark Wiley in the red. And Phil, you're going to tell me when to click and when to spin.
Right. Click. Spin.
Here we go then. Here we go. It's a 50-50. Who's going to win the mug? Oh, it's going to be Mark.
Oh, it's going to be Mark.
Well done, Mark. Commiseration, Sharky. Mark, if you're watching, I will get hold of you. Oh, look, we've got all the bunting and everything else as well. Look at that. Congratulations, Mark, for winning the West Ham unofficial mug. I will get hold of your details and make sure that goes out to you. Commiseration, Sharky, but, we've signed 8 good players, so... Just have to take the rough with the smooth. But there we go. That's our transfer update. Deadline day live here on West Ham Unofficial. First, Charlie, thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to West Ham Unofficial, do it now. Come on, get on it, bro. Just subscribe.
Get on it like a
link down below. Press whatever it is, the notification bell for everything and all the rest of it.
Phil knows.
That's it.
Knows.
Come on, Phil.
Phil, thank you very much for coming on as well.
Pleasure as always.
That's it from us, and it looks like David Moyes has probably gone to bed because we don't really see much else going on. To be fair, X, I hope, is having a well-deserved night off because he's had a week of it and a whole month of it. but yeah, thanks for watching. Feel bad now. Story of my life, you lost. Oh well, there's always next time, Sharky. There's always next time. But thanks to everybody for your support throughout the transfer window, and we'll catch you soon right here on West Ham Unofficial. Come on, cheers, guys, and bye bye.